Welcome to Citizen Tarot. I'm going to start with this book that I have, Infinity in Your Pocket by Mike Flynn. I'm going to open it to random, there are a bunch of like sciencey facts and formulae and whatever. So I'm going to just find a random one and start with that. The gas laws, Boyle's law. The volume of a mass of gas changes in relation to its pressure. Okay. Named for the 7th century Anglo-Irish chemist Robert Boyle, the meaning of the law is that if the pressure on a gas is reduced, the volume of the gas, for like the space it fills, will increase. Increasing the pressure of the gas has a reverse effect. Another way of expressing Boyle's law is to state that the pressure and volume of gas are inversely proportional to each other. I mean, that makes sense. It's just compacting something, right? The more you hold something tight, the smaller it gets. Okay, so we're starting out with that, Boyle's law. I'm going to draw 3 overall general energy cards. Overall. I'll show you these. Okay, so you have the cave, the river, and EROS. In conjunction with Boyle's law. Okay, so the cave, the river, and EROS. Perhaps you've been in hermit mode, kind of drawn back into your cave, and maybe you have for some time even. And you're getting a sense of, your sense of sensuality is heightened, I guess is the way I want to put it. The cave, the river. EROS. The river has to do with emotion. So this is free-flowing emotion, free-flowing energy, emotional energy, yeah, but also it could be associated with, I'm kind of seeing very yonic themes too in here. Maybe there's like been a sense of like retreating, sexual repression, or at least abstinence, maybe for some time, maybe based off of some emotions you've been having. I also get, I'm gonna have to like just go into more detail on this because I'm also getting an opposite. I thought that the opposite could be true, right? Where it's like you're taking matters into your own hands, so to speak. Funny because of emotions, some great emotions you have for someone. Let's get into this. What is this energy talking about? So we have the 5 of Cups reversed that fell out. Ace of Wands. Nine of Pentacles reversed. And the Wheel of Fortune. I'm going to clarify more on this Wheel of Fortune. Got the King of Swords in reverse. Okay, so I want to kind of look at this a little bit. Let's see. So this 5 of Cups in reverse is talking about needing to walk away from something, knowing it's time. It's time to walk away from something. You need to leave. Whatever situation this is. And you have this Ace of Wands, which is passion and energy, very sexual energy. Also, you have this Nine of Pentacles in reverse, which talks of someone who's worth a lot, but maybe isn't quite as consciously aware of it, or doesn't treat themselves as if they are. I kind of want to see what the actual little deck thing that I have says about that. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune and the King of Swords in reverse. So I'm going to kind of look at this deck a little bit as I'm learning how to do this in the first place to see what it's talking about. Yeah, Pentacles reverse. Let's see. You may be afraid to spend money on yourself, worrying that you are not worthy. You may be undercharging, working for free, accepting a lower salary than you should. Know that you are worthy and deserve to be wealthy in all facets. You know what I'm getting from it? I'm getting a sense of lack in the sexuality department. And maybe it's a sense of believing, or having been told, or just on any level believing that you aren't worthy of that sexual satisfaction for whatever reason of this Eros, and it's given you a whole lot of emotions. You're retreating into your cave because you don't feel worthy of that. Okay. Oof, Wheel of Fortune. You are experiencing a cycle of change. The wheel is turning and your situation is constantly evolving and shifting. What goes up must come down, and vice versa. Then you have the King of Swords in reverse. Let's look at that. King of Swords in reverse. Your expression of power and authority may be misdirected. You may be indecisive and feeling stuck. Center yourself and connect with your inner power. Yeah, your expression of power and authority. I mean, if you're talking about energies, it's really, really associated with sensuality, sexuality. If we're talking about power and authority in an astrological sense, you group it in there with Mars, which has to do with, yes, passion, authority, drive. It's all connected, right? So if you're being, and you know, sexuality is on a, it's a sort of, well, it's a physical base need, and through that Martian, passionate, wandish energy, we're able to achieve. And if you're being blocked in that, in any way, it might affect you in another way that is associated with it, right? Like if your sense of power is drained in one area of your life, your sense of power is drained in another area of your life. Can I get more? Oh, okay. I'm not gonna take that. That was my fault. More on this. Yeah, we have the Hermit. So it's caused you to retreat and go inward. Maybe retreat from sexual practices, or, you know, maybe this isn't necessarily directly having to do with sex itself. It's very possible that it is, but also it could have to do with any creative project or any passionate endeavor you may have. A sense of worthiness of having that and feeling fulfilled and satisfied in that. Tell me more. Two of Pentacles. Tell me about this Two of Pentacles. The Six of Wands reversed. Okay, I'm gonna look at that. Reversed, you may be lacking in self-confidence, seeking approval and validation from others rather than trusting yourself. Stop comparing yourself to others. It is taking away from your personal power and self-belief. Maybe this is a body image issue. In general, it's maybe just it could be a self-confidence thing in general, right? Like, it doesn't even have to just be about appearance, but something is taught you, whether it's something someone said or experiences you've had, just self-talk, whatever it may be. Why am I sitting like this? is affecting your sense of self-worth. What is it? Yeah, I want to know. What is it that's affecting this sense of self-worth? I want to pull from here. Sorry. Agape. Can we elaborate on that? The maiden. What is pulling from the sense of self-worth? Anima Mundi. I want to see from here. Pulling on the sense of self-worth. Painting a picture. Five of Wands in reverse. This is inner conflict, mental conflict. More on this energy. Maiden and Moon. Okay. Four of Pentacles reverse. Let's see. Balls. So agape represents like unconditional love. It's like lasting eternal love. Like I will love you wholeheartedly, like entirely, regardless of what you do. And that's not to say that I won't leave or to cause space or do what I need to do. It's just, it's unconditional love, right? This is the maiden. Maiden is associated with like sensuality, sexuality, yes, and exploration. That's pretty sensual, the card itself. And it's also like a sense of innocence and like kind of like just embarking on these things, right? Maiden. And then you have this Anima Mundi thrown in there, which is a sense of like everythingness, like a conglomeration, accumulation of experiences and thoughts and life experiences, things that like may or may not be connected. Ultimately, the Anima Mundi says it is all connected, right? And so, but it comes in this sort of like almost chaotic, sort of confusing package that's causing this sort of mental conflict. This was in reverse. It's a very inside your brain, like in the upright it represents like external conflict. In reverse it represents like, you know, you have all these things and they're represented as all these different wands, right? And they're kind of fighting with each other. You're in inner conflict. Maybe one thing you heard from someone somewhere or believe in something conflicts with another thing, and you don't know how to like make them agree enough to feel confident enough in yourself to move forward. So you have this Four of Pentacles in reverse. I kind of want to read. I'm learning about this still. I'm gonna read what this is about. Money is slipping through your fingers and your spending habits exceeding your saving habits. You may be spending unconsciously, hoping it will bring happiness, creating a positive relationship with money. Unconsciously spending. Something is slipping, something of value. So instead of just money, right, we're just gonna say something of value is slipping through your fingers, and you're spending it in a way, sort of unconsciously. Something of value. What is this thing of value? I'm gonna draw a deck from the card from each deck for this. Elaborate on this value slipping through your fingers. Knight of Cups reverse. That's what it looks like. What is slipping? Oh! That was crazy. Okay, well the card that flipped over is the Comic. Interesting. And what is slipping through fingers? Slipping through fingers. The Comic. Oh. Rotation. And gold. Okay, I'm getting thoughts on this. Maybe for some of you, this energy, the sense of not feeling in control, is more what I'm getting now of one's own body. Not feeling worthy, we can say more so, not feeling secure or safe in one's own body. That's painting a picture. Oh man. So perhaps someone here had experiences throughout their life at any time in their life. Maybe it was one, maybe it was several different events that compiled over time that made someone kind of accumulate a sense of shame for their body and their sexuality that is preventing them from being in tune with that sense of power. It is self-power and control. It's energy. It's being able to direct your life. It's that Martian energy of passion and doing energy, doing power. It's influenced heavily by this river of emotion, and also influences this river of emotion really powerfully. It's like it's like there's a dam there that's like growing this accumulation of emotion that's just building and building and building, and also this energy, this erotic EROS energy that is like begging to be released, but this dam won't budge because of all of these like blocks, these mental blocks that we put into, I don't know where that card went. These mental blocks that we put into our head over a period of time that has taken this, what should be unconditional love for oneself, and totally just blocked it off. And so the water's not flowing, and on the other side of the dam, you've got, the riverbed's drying up, and the life there is like begging for water. You have this really sweet, sensitive, delicate maiden energy that is ready to explore and like be in touch and in tune with this power and energy within them. And I got this more because elaborating on, what was this Knight of Cups in reverse? Did I look into that? That's what I looked into. Yeah, you're blocking yourself emotionally. And it's like these events that have happened that have blocked you. And I get this in part because some of the things that about this blockage, right? This lack of the comic, right? This is some of what this Knight of Cups in reverse energy is about. Is this dam is built of a lack of this comic, right? I think as such an essential part of healing, it's not necessarily making everything laughable, like turning it into a joke and be able to look at it happily or pleasantly. But the comic doesn't take itself so seriously, right? It learns through pain. If you can see this image, I really like this depiction because it's like this little goofy cat that is like crying. It's like kind of creepy eyeballs if you look up really close. Like they look goofy from afar, but up close they're really creepy and sad and dark, and they're crying. But he's got this party hat on, and it's all bright and colorful and goofy on the outside. And by continuing to take ourselves so seriously, and the events that have been really, really painful, like they make a joke about how comedians are have like the darkest and saddest, like they're the most depressed because they've dealt with a lot of hard things, and that's why they're funny, is they're able to look at things from a different perspective from those experiences and be like, I'm not going to take myself too seriously, I'm going to make a bunch of jokes out of this. And that's a whole other subject. Like, there's self-deprecating jokes, there are whatever empowering jokes and all that, but there's a lack of being able to rotate the perspective of these things to say, okay, like I've experienced all these hard things and I've been told all these things all my life and experienced these really difficult. Anyone dealing with this is like one of the hardest things to deal with and try to get over, because it has to do with your own body and your own sense of power. To be told and taught to be shameful of your own body and your own basic essential needs, man, it's grouped in there with sleep and eating. To be told that that's wrong or evil and that you are undeserving of this unconditional love, by having or pursuing that, from keeping yourself, from keeping yourself from your power, it's like imprisonment, it's abuse, it's, even if it's unintentional, it's really, really harmful. I shouldn't just throw random words around like that, but it is harmful and it's incorrect. They also had gold in there, and I'm going to look up the actual, what the artist has to say. Okay. Gold. Illumination, splendor, culmination. The alchemist's gold is no ordinary gold. It is not found in rings or coins or necklaces. It is a substance buried deep within, sometimes referred to as the gold of the wise, philosophic gold, ethereal stone, and divine quintessence, among other countless names. I think I just twitched a lot. I'm not even going to think about that. For our purposes, we seek not the physical metal, but the mystical essence within each alchemist. How do we recognize it? It mimics the qualities of the metal itself, soft and radiant. And its planetary counterpart, the sun, warm and bright, which is associated with happiness in tarot. It's no wonder gold is associated with the heart. When this card arrives, there is something of incredible value at hand. It is marvelous and rare. Cherish it and get to know its properties and its source. The gold card carries properties and its source. What? The gold card carries a distinct shadow. If mistaken for a purely physical material, it can lead to greed and excess, causing the alchemists to lose their way. Reverence is key. Okay, that's interesting. Because maybe it's these very same things that have come from other people about sexuality and the shamefulness of it. You know, if you, like, money itself isn't inherently a bad thing. If you look at it a certain way and use it in a certain way to control and dominate others, then it's harmful and it hurts other people, and then ends up giving other people shame complexes, like it might have done for you, or whoever I'm reading this for. But if in and of itself is this beautiful gold, malleable, lasting element, the source of happiness and joy, and to come into contact with it is to find your joy. And so relating this back to like the whole Boyle's Law thing that we started out with in the first place, there is this pressure, man, crazy, this sense of like sexuality that's been repressed for so long and compacted and compacted and compacted. And the more it's compacted, the less space it takes up. The more it's compacted, the less space it takes up. Okay. So if we're thinking about this, not just as sexuality, but as in power and confidence, self-power, motivation, drive, and confidence is grouped in there with sexuality, right? The more it's compacted, the less space it takes up, which goes to say, you know, again, the less of any of that sort of Martian power you have to put out into other parts of your world, right? It's all in here instead of all out here where you can just give it freely everywhere and it radiates from you, right? You're keeping it so compacted, but there's pressure there and it's ready to burst. Yeah, give us more on this. Thinking about it a lot. And there's sort of coming to be a death in you where you're like realizing that this needs to change. And in order for it to change you, a sense of your, in a sense, you have to die in a way. You have to let die the parts of you that are shameful. And maybe you're attached to those shameful parts because you've been told and taught that they're what keep you safe and worthy. When in fact they are the things that are keeping you in captivity and under, more likely to be impressionable, and your own drive is being compacted. That means something else is more likely to come in, and you're more likely to allow that to take more of a presence in your life, or of a say in your life and your decisions than it should. All these things, maybe this is something that you've been working, has been a part of you for a long time, and is something that you've even worked on building, right? Like resilience, and like a lot of religious people, like myself growing up, you work so hard to keep those things at bay because you're taught like that's wrong, that's going to be bad for me, and everyone around me can only do bad things, like unless it's done in a specific way that some person that knows all the secrets of the universe told me it's done, right? Like even if you don't even think that anymore, even if you do, I'm losing my train of thought. Basically, you might have worked on building up this pressure, right? Keeping this contained, building this dam yourself for over a long period of time, thinking it was the right thing to do. Four Wands in reverse. I need to look up what that means exactly because I have an inkling. I think I remember, but I can't tell if I totally remember. Let's see. Full of Wands. In reverse, there may be an instability in the home or transition to a new home. Do what you can to settle in and ground yourself in your current environment, even if it's a temporary home. Interesting. This is coming to my brain in a lot of different ways. Maybe you're in an environment that continues to oppress you, and or continues to reinforce these ideas and reinforce the dam, right? Or this home could be referred to as an ideology, right? A place that you live in your brain. And it's turning up on its head, and it's time for you to move into a new way of thinking and being, a place where you can feel safe, right? Truly. Where even this thing that you were taught was so dangerous for so long is actually safe. And your confidence is safe, and your body and your power is safe. It's safe. Okay, I'm going to take 3 action cards that will help you. 3 action cards that will help you in taking these steps forward. Ooh, Saturn. The Blue Temple. I guess we're getting 4. Calcification and Uranus. Okay. Saturn is a planet that Okay. Saturn is a planet that talks about growth over time. It talks about structure and what's it called? Order, but also like, what is the word I'm thinking of? Like dedication or stability, you know, consistency. And it is this way, and it sometimes is really hard to deal with because it's like a sort of reaping. It's like, all right, we're gonna learn lessons here, but it takes place over the course of time, right? And requires like consistent effort. The Blue Temple speaks of emotional, like dwelling in these emotions. I kind of want to see what she said about Blue Temple again. L-I-B. What? Man, I really need to get better at finding these things. Just learn my Roman numerals, watch like a YouTube video and be like, probably know what I'm doing. L-I-V. Come on. Give me the Blue Temple. Just give me the. I don't even know what I'm. Oh, there it is. Okay. Celestial realm, the imagination, expansiveness. Welcome to the Blue Temple, the home of the alchemical imagination. You have entered a space of new depths and possibilities. The inner eye opens and you become willing to see in a new way. To understand this card, one must study blue itself. It's the celestial color of the sky, the ocean, the peacock's tail. Though potent, blue slips away. Through this color, our imagination threads together experiences both grim and glorious. We are taken into the depths of a mood, of tone, of rhythm and blues. The eternal mystery of the blue only deepens as we study it. This is precisely the point. Leave the cerebral behind, cloak yourself in a sapphire robe and sit quietly in the vault of mysteries. Okay, I like that a lot. Sitting quietly in this vault of mysteries, allowing yourself. Sometimes, if you did grow up in a sort of really strict situation that caused you to feel shame about these subjects in this way, sometimes it really just starts with allowing yourself to even think about it, right? Like I was taught growing up that you weren't even allowed to like think about it, right? That's insane looking back, but I've been there and I understand it. So yeah, allow yourself to sit with and feel, really just imagine, let your imagination run wild, read schmut books if needed, or do what you need, as long as it's, I don't know, like you're gonna do it the way that you know you need to do it, but maybe make sure you're seeking out, if you're seeking out other matter to help you, try to find sources that are healthy, right? Healthy. But also there's something to be said about the taboo too, that's like we have to allow ourselves to think the way that we want to think without labeling them as good or bad. Acting in certain ways, if it's hurting some way, one way or another, is a whole other thing. Obviously we shouldn't be doing anything that harms anyone else, but in general there's something to be said about the taboo existing and that having a place in our not only our psychological worlds, but also I'm gonna stop there with that. And then you have Uranus, which is the planet of abrupt change. It's got this lightning bolt. Uranus often feels like a lightning bolt. It's a jolt of energy. It's a powerful change of direction. And then you have calcification. So to me, with this process, you have, maybe it starts with thinking about it and allowing yourself to think about it, and over time that grows into something more. You're willing to explore more, and you're allowing yourself to, with this Saturnian energy who's here to teach you how to be okay with yourself and with your power, your sexuality, and maybe eventually, maybe it's one event that happens that really sets it off for you, the rest of it, right? Like, maybe you make a choice to have an encounter. Maybe it's just seeking out material that helps you understand all that better, whatever it might be. You have this moment that's like, seems like a jolt of energy, and sometimes it can feel a little shocking, right, is the word. But the trick is to let that sit. You don't have to make any decisions right away or understand totally how you feel. Of course, it might feel uncomfortable if you spend an entire lifetime feeling uncomfortable. Unless it actually is harmful to you and is hurting you actually, then you know that. Like, if it just sort of feels unfamiliar and uncomfortable and like, oh no, should I be doing this because of all these things I've been told my entire life, or these things that have happened to me and I've not allowed myself to think this way before? Calcification says basically like, this is the burning of one thing and it becomes like, basically turns into ash, right? It is lighting something on fire. Perhaps you are lit on fire with your passion and your power and sense of power. Can we elaborate? I'm going to do one more card for elaborating. Oh, give us 2. So we got 7 of Cups and the World. I'm going to read those out loud to you really quick. 7 of Cups. Many options are available to you and you must make a choice, but be careful. You are prone to illusion and unrealistic ideals. Evaluate your options and dig below the surface to discover what's really involved with each choice. Interesting. Be careful about how you approach this. Obviously, there are, when getting into a subject like this that you're not familiar with and you already have such a big thing built around it, it's important to remember the basics, which are, safety, all of those things. There might be a lot of things that you're not forgetting and that you're not remembering and you're not looking at that you need to remember to take care of so that you can make the right decisions that will keep you safe, truly. And then you have the World. The World. Okay. You have come full circle and are celebrating the successful completion of an important project or phase as you close one chapter and open another. Yeah. That's really exciting. Really cool. That was a really cool reading. I feel compelled. This is another book that I have, Revelations in Air. It's about smell. I'm just gonna open up to a random thing. Okay. But oh, this is the first thing I'm reading. But oh, lift off. And it's about hot chocolate, by the way, the smell of hot chocolate. Lift off. Curling in zephyrs above the mug, hot chocolate creates above itself a dome of delectable shifting scents, floral, sweet, tanged with citrus, a slight chilly heat. The cloud of sweetness can hit the nose with crystalline and brittle, like grains of brown sugar. Sniff again, though, and you may read it in a sweet, liquid, amber malt syrup way. You could close your eyes and focus solely on sniffing how much milk the drink contains. You can play a nearly endless game of blink and sniff each time your nose exhausts many different scents lift magically from its liquid surface. Chocolate smells are super dimensional. Like coffee, tea, beer, and wine, chocolate has tons of aromatic compounds, specifically 600 compared to 200 in wine. Oh, my book just closed all by itself. So I'm just gonna, as you know, chocolate's an aphrodisiac, so that's kind of fun that it's associated with this. Aphrodisiac, if you don't know, is like something that kind of makes you want to get it on, turn on that little passion, sexual energy. I don't know any of the science behind aphrodisiacs, but it's that I know that about it. But what I got mostly from that is that little excerpt was such a sensual, just totally allowing oneself to be submersed in the experience and take in all of the different sensations and feelings of and being delighted in that, right? Allowing yourself to find the delight, to seek out all the little different scents and aromas and flavors. And this is a whole, like, it's so interesting, right? To think, like, you know, can you imagine, like, there's so much diversity just in smell. So this physical experience, the sensual experience involved here is a whole entire universe of sensations and physical experiences to be had and delighted in that you couldn't have even imagined before. It's like labeling smell, sense of smell, as evil or bad or shameful. No. Sexuality, passion, your personal power, all of that is to be enjoyed. It's to be enjoyed. And so I hope the very best to you, and good luck on your way, and thanks for tuning in. Yeah. Bye.